Alright, response video to Amanda, Forever Wolf Films. Anyway, yeah, she did mention me in this draft proposal, gallery show thing video, and yeah, how to politely say, yeah, nah, not gonna work. This whole subject of how to use art, what what is art anyway, and art's always been a little bit of propaganda. Art is always kind of defending a passion, defending a statement, making a statement. Some art is just generic in a way. It's only saying one thing, pretty flower or something, or passive scenery. But it's sort of like music, right? I mean, music has music has different purposes, and a lot of music is saying something. It's not just music, especially you go into folk music and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely all political music, and so that's sort of what you're talking here is what's the artistic, how do we gain the added value of applying art to this art of persuasion, or this art of edification even, and art is a part of, you'd almost argue that a good teacher is sort of an artist. It's performance art. Grab their intention, give them perspective, give them a point of view that makes it, the information makes them not only hungry for it but makes it visible. Gives them an eye for it, a focus for it. All this kind of, you could argue, these mechanisms. So anyway, so directly to your proposal. Yeah, probably way too complicated. It sort of reminds me a little bit of the Devo thing, or whatever it's called, that, whatever, where the rich people get together and talk about how they're going to burn all the poor up. They have that kind of mechanism, where they have their little 3-minute videos, and then they let people respond to them, and the responses are just generic. Oh yes, ain't it awful, or yeah, we should do something about that. So I mean, in a way, we could just make up the response videos, right? You could just have an idiot say, take your medication, asshole, you're depressed. Why don't you kill yourself? I mean, we could just make the shit up. We don't need, to actually have them perform their art, their counter art, which is going to be just generic human crap. So yeah, we could just make that up because they're just going to be imbeciles. They're not going to say anything enlightening or edifying or in any way elevate the conversation. They're going to degrade the conversation. As I'll point out when I, Luddite did a response video to My Misery and Me. And the oxymoronic, I don't even know how to describe the contradiction, right? He makes one video where even the intellectuals, even smart people are saying, what the fuck are you saying, asshole? Because he has got the pretense written all over it, the convoluted, elitist language. So yeah, nobody understands what the hell he's saying. And then he makes the next video where he's just a buffoon and he's smearing doo-doo on his face. I mean, you're just like, how the hell do you go from pretending to be 500 million years old to being 4 years old? I mean, it's just, but that's human beings, right? It's all this edifice, this facade, this fakery. There's a 4-year-old inside of them, and it way too often escapes. Even smart people are just profoundly stupid. I mean, it's just the fact. It just is. I mean, it's sad, but it's true that human beings aren't nearly smart enough yet. And it's not even that they don't have the IQ for it. Again, it's this whole idea that, they've already drank the Kool-Aid. They've drank the Kool-Aid of this expectation that there's purpose and function. They won't see themselves as a fucking infestation. They won't recognize the fact that even though they know it's all just living on the crust of the earth and this whole biomass kind of idea, they'll consider, oh yeah, I'm part of the biomass, but I'm super cool part. And I'm doing something neato. They just can't get past that delusion. But anyway, that's a whole separate subject. So again, it's just really, but it's all the art of propaganda, right? I mean, the Grey Tao Cho kind of application is probably the most effective application, but even that application has no effectiveness if it doesn't have an audience. And right, and we, as we've demonstrated, even when you have a well-educated, literate, actually socially interested audience, what do? They draw, they Photoshop you, essentially. They argue with poo. They actually throw pieces of poo. In terms of down-rating videos and up-rating videos. I mean, let's go with the Luddite, just for the sake of interest. All right, he does a complete, disgusting, insulting, rude video about somebody else who makes videos that are, generally speaking, quite polite, and so for no good reason, makes some kind of argument that he has no intelligence, and that his philosophy isn't any deeper than Horton Hears a Who, and this kind of nonsense. So here it has 12 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down at this point, at 59 views. So people just are lapping this up. Oh yeah, you compared him to a Dr. Seuss book. Yeah, that's so brilliant. That's such a brilliant counter-argument. Who can't do that, really? Again, why don't you just Photoshop him? Why don't you, if you're going to be this lame, why don't you just Photoshop him? So let's see what the number is now. I have something more to say on the subject of the art thing, so I'll get back to it shortly. I won't bother actually arguing this yet. I'll argue this later. Alright, so now it's at 16 thumbs up and 4 thumbs down. I mean, I get 4 thumbs down before my video's even been up, 3 or 4 minutes. So yeah, that's sort of a commentary, right? This is what intellectuals do. They reward a video that's just crap. Absolute crap. There's no counter argument here at all. All he did was throw crap in somebody's face. He threw shit in their face and said, there's my argument. And these intellectuals rewarded that. So what's the statement here? Is there any point to making art for people this stupid, or for idiots this grotesque? And this is a guy who'll profess to have a profound passion for art, and a passion for language and words, and the dignity of that form of communication, and yet look what he does with it. I mean, just like I said, you just can't get more oxymoronic. I mean, it's the duplicity, the hypocrisy is so loud, so fucking loud. It's just amazing, just fucking amazing. I'll get the fucking great Texas moronic statements too, because it is just hilarious. I mean, these people just can't deal with the argument, and so this is all they've got is a tantrum. All they got is a tantrum, and all they got is I'll just pick up anything I can find and throw it. It's just so weak and so lame and so discouraging. So anyway, so back on the subject of the propaganda thing. So anyway, your idea gave me the idea that this is something that's really grotesquely missing in our culture, in our society. It's some sort of mechanism where we could express opinion, where we could support arguments and propaganda that we thought was well performed. And so I was just thinking, if there was a cable channel, maybe just government sponsored, no big deal, nothing fancy, and it just took YouTube videos or any freely produced videos, or even videos produced by political organizations that had a mission statement. And we as voters, we have tokens. Let's say you have 10 points that you can give away that will support those videos being played on the channel. So the more votes a video gets, the more tokens voters give up, the more plays it gets on this one cable channel. And so just have so it would be, a system, that's the key thing, right, is this reliable voting thing. We just don't have that in our society now, just because everybody's such a cheater and a liar and a fraud, that you can't create a mechanism where people don't get to vote 10 times or 100 times or 5 million times because they game the system. I sort of knew that was going to happen. So anyway, I'll be back. I gotta remember where the hell I was, which I don't remember. I was ragging on this asshole, but yeah, I think I was done with that. But anyway, so the point is that we need a mechanism for the expression of philosophy and even the art of propaganda and doing it well, and you know, and there is none, you know, and there should be some way to represent ourselves, represent the people, because yeah, obviously the two-party system doesn't do that. So it'd be nice to have some other mechanism where you could get what people's real passions are, because they had, you know, a real amount of voice to exercise, and they could place their affirmative messages where appropriate, and you know, other people could basically mock the human race based on what it supported or defended in terms of propaganda, which would make the propaganda more and more interesting artistically, in that it might reveal idiocracy, and that would be maybe edifying. But anyway, but yeah, we don't have any such mechanisms, and it's kind of hard to, you know, I thought of the infomercial way, but then you end up just paying TV networks crazy amounts of money to do something that, you know, won't be effective anyway, because all you'll be able to do is afford to put commercials on in the middle of the night when no one rational or sane or not drunk is listening. So yeah, it's just true. Still trying to figure out a way to, you know, make it relevant. Warhol, you know, get the 15 minutes of fame shit or whatever it takes to get art, you know, a place, you know, visibility. And it seems like that's always dependent on some sort of outrageous conduct, and it's just depressing how there isn't really there isn't a great formula. I suppose there is, but it's not a formula that most people want to engage in. It's like there's probably a way to succeed on YouTube, but you have to compromise all your integrity to do it. And so what's the point then? But anyway, so that's the artist's statement on this, I suppose. So I'll get to the basic arguments here. We'll do a little arguing. So anyway, so that would be more like towards the end of his video here, the very end actually. So, you know, again, so the video is just this 1 minute video of just insulting somebody's intelligence as if they have some argument to do that. So anyway, here's the great text line. It's kind of funny. What's wrong with sterilizing the poor? So that's something that Jay has stated. Words that will be remembered for all time. Again, so this is, you know, the argument isn't that complicated, right? So you have people basically laying eggs in actual shit. And let's just use the egg metaphor because it makes it easy to understand. So if we were birds or ostriches or something, and some of the ostriches were laying their eggs, these precious little newborns are going to be thrown, you know, they were laying eggs in shit. In shit. And it would be irrational for the other ostriches to say, wait a minute, they're just going to have little babies in shit, the babies are going to be shit, we're going to have to finance them, you know, they're not going to pay to raise these kids, we're going to have to pay to try to turn them into people, but they're going to be raised in shit, so they're going to be fucking assholes, they're going to be just little monsters, so we're going to pay a huge social cost for this. We're going to have to compromise the welfare of our own children to subsidize this idiot behavior. And it would be stupid of the other ostriches to say, yeah, let's tell them to stop that shit. Let's maybe make them pay to do it. Let's put a penalty on their welfare checks. Let's do something to stop them from laying eggs in shit. Gee, that's just so preposterous. But like I said, they don't have a counter argument. They just mock it as if it's oh, that's Nazi-esque. That's, you just hate poor people. You're a poor person bigot. No, you know, if you actually gave a shit about kids, then you'd realize that huge national debt is irrational and immoral. If you actually gave a fuck about kids. Because guess what? It just basically means you're going to force your children to work in servitude to somebody to pay that fucking shit back. So don't tell me that you love children and then deficit spend, fuckhead. Not pay your bills, or suggest that society should give us all free health care and give us this and give us that and give us that, and then not come up with a way to pay for it. I guess that just makes you a colossal asshole. And a hypocrite and a liar. You don't give a fuck about kids. If you gave a fuck about kids, you wouldn't let people lay eggs in shit. I mean, it's just not that complicated. So anyway, let's play this asshole's final bullshit. So he's basically reduced My Misery Me's argument to simplicity, but that's okay, because it's a simplicity these assholes don't have an answer for.
Create. And just brilliant.
There we go.
Nihilist asshole. What right do you have to procreate? And just brilliant.
Okay, and
I've always known.
So what's your brilliant response? I mean, it's not a complex question. What right do you have to procreate? That's right, you're playing God. You can't be any more in somebody's face than to force them to live in your world, your silly fucking world. Okay? You think it's all super cool and neato. You even tattoo yourself with signs because you have to explain to each other how to turn the light switches on and off. And so you think it's all entertaining enough, you think it's edifying enough, you think it's all good enough. And you're imposing that on somebody else, and through what right? Where did you acquire the authorization, the sense of authority to sit there and draw straws for somebody else? Where did you get that from? And what's your answer to the question? I don't need to get authorization. I don't need to demonstrate any authority or right. I just have the right because I have the ability. The ability gives me right to use it. So if I can make a fist, I can throw a fist. I don't have to have any fucking goddamn rational excuse to do it. And that's all you're saying. You're saying you went to a DNA molecule, it said, yeah, it's okay, do whatever the fuck you want. That's your authorization. And that's the best you can do. So the best you can do is make some mocking asshole video, but you can't answer the simple fucking question you're pretending to mock. You're not mocking it because obviously you can't answer it. It's a simple question. Where do you derive the right from? What rational statement can you give me explaining why you have a right to play God? Why you have a right to assume the welfare of somebody else? Why do you think you are authorized to fuck with them? To fuck with this conscious state thing? To assume they're going to be as dumb and as stupid and as ass-licking as you? Why should you think other people would have a taste for ass? Why? Why? Because you got hatched in a cesspool, would you think any normal, sensible, decent egg would want to be caught dead being hatched in a cesspool? You dirty, stinking, lousy, rotten piece of crap. I mean, it's just so disgusting. Why would I want you as a father? Do you have an explanation? Do you have anything at all to authorize, to qualify yourself at all? No, you can provide nothing. You have nothing as an answer. I want, I take. That's what you have as an answer. And so let's just write a book about I want, I take. Because that's all you're saying. You have no answer to the nihilist fact. You're just nihilist, selfish, fucking ignorant jackasses. And that's why you can't make a better video than this. Because you're lame as goddamn hell. And so is the intellectual, philosophical community who gives 16 thumbs up and only 4 thumbs down for an absolute piece of crap of a response. Not one single rational argument made, nothing stated here whatsoever, just fucking picked up a piece of crap and threw it. And that's all he did. It's not mud throwing, it's shit throwing. And you fucking reward that. So again, why not just resort to fucking photoshopping? Come on, go ahead. You know you want to. So go ahead and do that. Because it's not any, you haven't fooled me. Okay, and I'm supposed to be the biggest idiot on YouTube, and you didn't fool me, fucking asshole. You're taking the cheapest, basest, there wasn't anything brilliantly satire-esque in this shit. It was just that, a piece of shit. So anyway, really, poor show. Really. So anyway, petty, just fucking petty losers. Alright, so anyway. I mean, you've certainly lost the argument when this is what you have to resort to. That's a for sure. I thought there was some other asshole that needed something. Needed somebody to comment on their assholery. But, I won't bother. There's no point. You people are just fucking weak, lame asses. And if you just have nothing. You have no fucking argument. You got nothing. You can't quote anybody. You can't honestly answer a question. You can't do it. You're just totally fucking without a clue, and you've become no better. I mean, the reason why you don't understand why somebody should ridicule poor people laying eggs and shit is because that's all you are. You belong in the cesspool. You're no better than the mutant zombie retards. Fuck. I mean, you just have the clothes, of the betters. You don't have any of the intellectual or what's another word for character? But yeah, you just don't have any of that integrity character thing. You're just as base and stupid an animal. No. Fuck you, people. Fuck you. Garbage. Trash. Human garbage.